What's that?
What were people in the 80s on?
A lot, actually, a lot. I mean, right off the bat, baseline, we were a lot of us were smokers. I mean, we started smoking when we were in junior high, for the most part. I started smoking cigarettes at 13. First cigarette I ever had was a filterless cigarette off of a farmer at 13 years old after a bad day of work. So, right off the bat, a lot of us were smokers. But that, above and beyond that, what we were on was anything we could get our goddamn hands on. Right? You know, sometimes if you were lucky enough to go to a party that scored a keg, then you were on beer that particular night. But those stories about jungle juice, that shit was true. It's just whatever the fuck you could find poured into a cooler together. And people just fucking scoop and drink. Sometimes we were on booger sugar. Man, was there some booger sugar. It was kind of all over the place. Hallucinogenics. We were on hallucinogenics. Mushrooms were prevalent, but I never really cared for the mushrooms. They always made me puke, right? So I always used to have to take a little bit of the shroom off, get that taste in my mouth, get the vomiting part over with, and then go ahead and go in for the remainder. And even then, I still couldn't chew it. Used to have to put chunks of it in my mouth and swallow it with big swallows of water. I had a friend that used to cook them on top of pizzas. I'm like, you fucking ruined the pizza. Come on, man. That shit tastes like dog shit. We eat it to get high, but it tastes like dog shit. It's not enhancing the za, my guy. You just fucked up the whole pie. But tabs, whew, we had some tabs back in the day. And we used to take them, like, you didn't take a tab, right? You took 2, 3, 4 tabs. How many tabs you got? I don't know, 4.5? How many are you going to take? 4.5? I remember sitting on the couch in the living room of my house in Linton, Indiana. And my friend at the time, Barry, was sitting next to me. And I was gone. And I'm watching his head. I'm just like sitting there like this. And I'm watching his head react like the substance in a lava lamp. Wow. Then my cousin came and picked me up. It was winter time, so there was a little bit of snow on the ground. It didn't snow often in Linton, Indiana, but there was a little bit of snow on the ground. And we went to his friend's house, and his friend, my cousin's friend, and his wife and their toddler fucked with me for hours. They had me believing that we were in Los Angeles and we were going to go have lunch with Motley Crue. And because the toddler was running around but couldn't talk, right? It's a toddler. Running around in a diaper with a bottle. They had me convinced that the toddler, was the Czechoslovakian little person father of my cousin's friend's wife. And that's why I couldn't understand him. He was speaking Czechoslovakian to me. So I spent 2 hours talking to a toddler, trying to develop some form of commonality in language, offering him cigarettes and shit. But what we were mainly on was rock and roll and weed. That's what we were on. Rock and roll and weed. Back in the day in Linton, Indiana, there were a handful of people you could get your weed from, but we got ours from Fat Pam. And this was the beginning of our weed days, right? We weren't buying like an eighth or a quarter. We weren't getting bulk. You were picking up pre-rolled pinner joints. 3 for $5. 3 for $5. You and 2 of your friends got together and each one of you had $10. You were set for Saturday night, Friday night, Saturday night, whatever. You could fill up one of your tanks of gas. Everybody could get a pack of smokes because they were like, like 88, 90 cents a pack. And then you swung by Fat Pam's and everybody got 3 for $5. You got a full tank of gas, 3 packs of smokes, and 9 joints. Set. get some hair metal or some classic rock, jamming on the radio, hit the strip up and down the main drag there in Linton, Indiana. That's what I was on a lot of. I was on rock and roll and weed. I was on a good time, is what I was on. It was a good fucking time. But yeah, that's kind of what we were on. We were on alcohol. We were on beer, jungle juice, tabs, shrooms, rock and roll, weed, and fornication. That's what we were on.